Today we're going to analyze and do a tutorial on the most destructive and explosive weapons shooting mod on Teardown game. This mod contains over 150 spawnable explosives, including mines, bombs, guided missiles, grenades, and more. We'll be right back for the start of this tutorial. Don't forget to leave a comment and drop a like to support me. It really helps. First, log into the Steam Workshop. You'll need to download the mod. Type CHW Explosive Pack tabs on the search bar. Go to the mod and download it. Don't forget to download the dependencies, especially the Hawk Lock on mod, which will allow you to lock onto your targets. Now that you've downloaded everything, go back into the game. You'll find your mod in the spawn menu. Click on it, and you'll see all the menus for different bombs, explosives, and missiles. We're going to go through each menu in detail to learn how to launch and use the explosives. Let's start with the bombs. Grab your bomb, place it where you want. No need to aim it in any specific direction. Now select your Hawk Lock on mode from menu 2. A white cross will appear. Click the left mouse button to lock onto your target. You'll see a white square appear around your target. You can lock onto moving vehicles, buildings, ragdolls, anything. The lock-on is really precise. Even if you're locking from a distance, it'll still lock onto your target perfectly. Even if you've locked onto your target, you can switch weapons or tools. It won't break the lock-on. The easiest way to drop a bomb is by pressing E. Once you press E, the bomb disappears in an instant and shoots up into the sky. You don't see the plane, but you hear the sound of it passing by, and then the bomb drops. Since it's a regular bomb and not a GBU, it's not laser guided. It has a dispersion effect, so it's not super precise. The second way to drop the bomb is by pressing R to change the delay, then E to activate the bomb. Stand in front of it. After that, you can move anywhere on the map and press H to drop the bomb. Now that we've covered the regular bombs, let's move on to the GBU missiles. These are much more precise because they're laser guided. If you're aiming to strike a building with troops nearby and need to ensure a hit, the GBU is your go-to option. Just like regular bombs, the GBU missiles work the same way to be launched. You can lock onto a target, activate the missile, and send it on its way, ensuring a precise hit. Very cool! Thirdly, let's move on to guided missiles. These are a bit more technical to launch compared to the bombs. There are more options involved. To begin, you'll need to spawn your missile and the launcher. The launcher is the tool that will allow you to direct the missile towards the target. Position the launcher as you see fit using the buttons on it. There are buttons to tilt it up, down, left, and right. When you approach the guided missile, you'll notice several options on the user interface. Left side, you'll see the distance to the target you've locked on. You'll also see the target's position on the left side, but the update hasn't been made yet, so it doesn't work at the moment. In the middle, we have the important options. The first one is attaching your missiles. We'll come back to this point later in the video. Then, there's the guidance delay. If you set it to 3 seconds, the missile will fly straight for 3 seconds before heading to its target. There's the launch delay, which allows you to select when you want the missile to launch, be it 5, 20, or 10 seconds after activation. There's also the missile speed, which can range from 10 meters per second to 300 meters per second. Another option is set target for multi-targeting. We'll revisit that later. This allows you to launch multiple missiles at different targets either sequentially or simultaneously. Finally, there's the guidance mode, which we'll also cover later. To modify the options, use the buttons you see on the screen. I'll demonstrate right now by changing the guidance delay to 3 seconds, adjusting the launch delay, and altering the speed, and you'll see how the missile reacts. The launching method is the same as for the bombs. Press E to activate the missile directly, or press R, then press E to activate it, and finally press H anywhere on the map. You can observe the effect of the guidance delay, which makes the missile fly in a certain direction for 3 seconds before it corrects itself and heads back toward the target. Now let's try with an anti-tank guided missile. It works exactly the same as the anti-air guided missile, as I mentioned earlier. As for the guidance mode, you can choose whether the target is stationary or moving. I haven't fully observed the effect of this option on the missiles yet. However, since the tank isn't moving, we'll choose the stationary option. Let's move on to the general purpose guided missile. First, I'll show you how to attach your missiles. Grab the physics gun. Take your missile, position it where you want it on the object you want to attach it to. Then, get close to the missile, press G, and you'll see it says attached. Once that's done, your missile is attached and won't move, but it will still launch when activated. Now, I'll show you how to easily launch your missiles with the physics gun and how to use the multi-target option. First, spawn your missiles, take the physics gun, position them, and attach them wherever you want. They will still launch even if they are attached with the physics gun, once you trigger the launch. Once positioned, here's how to use the multi-target option. Lock your target using the lock-on mode, then return to the missile, set the launch delay, and press V. When you press V, it locks onto the first target you've selected. After that, you can select a second target with the lock-on, go to the next missile, configure its delay as you like, press V again, and repeat the process for each missile. This way, each target will be assigned to each missile you've set up. I pressed V incorrectly for the third target, but I can assure you it works perfectly when done right. Now, let's move on to special guided missiles with munitions. So, in this category of guided missiles, the missiles don't go where you aim them. They're not really missiles. For example, there are cluster bombs. You spawn it, and you send it by pressing E, while making sure you've locked onto the target you want to lock. The missile will go in any direction. It doesn't matter. It's just an optical effect, and the actual effect of the missile will happen where you've locked your target. So, for anti-personnel minefield remote, it will deploy a minefield at the locked location. For cluster bombs, it sends a cluster bomb to the locked spot, with different sizes and categories available. There's also the flare missile, which sends a bright flare above the spot you want. And there's the incendiary one, which drops napalm at the locked location. The tactical missile in the game is actually an ATCMS, Army Tactical Missile System, although it works like other guided missiles, such as those in the general purpose, anti-air, or anti-tank categories. It's placed in the tactical category because it's meant for more targeted, strategic strikes on specific areas. Now, let's move on to the mine category. For mines, you can spawn individual mines, which we'll cover later. But you can also spawn minefields. Let me show you how this works. First, spawn the minefield you want. For example, we'll choose an anti-personnel minefield. Place it where you want it. Once it's placed, you'll notice there's a command that spawns with the mines. You can activate the minefield remotely so that it's active. I'll show you how that works next. For individual mines, it's simple. Spawn your mine and activate it by standing in front of it and pressing E. This will make it explode when a vehicle drives over it. You can also press E a second time to make it explode 10 seconds after activation. Let's talk about rockets. These are rockets like the BM-21 Grad, which are typically designed to be launched from military vehicles. You can choose the launch speed of the missile. The higher the speed, the farther it will go. Simply press E to launch it. The rocket doesn't go to the location where you've locked on. Even if you lock onto a target, it won't head in that direction. Now let's move on to the shells. There are flying and non-flying shells. The flying shells work like rockets. You can adjust the launch speed, and the higher the speed, the farther the missile will go. As for the non-flying shells, they are purely decorative. They're explosive, but you can't launch them. The static explosives menu allows you to spawn fuel jerrycans, ammo crates, and C4. Except for the C4, you can't trigger these explosions remotely. You have to shoot the objects to make them explode. As for the C4, you can place it wherever you want and activate it by pressing E. It will detonate 10 seconds after activation. For grenades, you have the grenade belt, which is just decorative, but it still explodes. Then there's the RPG rocket, which you can launch by pressing E. As well as two types of modern grenades, one American and one Soviet. To use a grenade, press E to activate it and throw it quickly because it will explode after 7 seconds. Finally, thrusters are boosters that you can attach to missiles. But to be honest, I haven't fully figured out their purpose yet, since you can already control the speed of all missiles manually.